Hello my loves, I'm Miss MonMon. Welcome to my channel. I thought this series was done. Turns out I have had a lot of requests to add an extra episode to my pinup pageant guide, especially in the rise of online pinup pageants. So that is what we are doing today. Episode 11 of my pinup pageant guide. Do we have a theme song? I don't remember. It's been a while. I'm going to start off by saying I am traveling and dealing with this outside my window. Yes, they're still going. I will do my best about editing out the noise, but I can't get rid of all of it. I can't go anywhere else to film. So I'm just doing the best that I can. All right, so online pinup pageants. These started, of course, when we all got trapped in our houses, and they are both weird and wonderful, but also a little bit of a learning curve. Like with all pinup pageants, there are different factors, different things that judges want. Most of the time it is a video submission, but of course there are ones that are just a photo submission. So I will try to cover both, but of course my blog, which is linked in the description box below, will have a really clear outline of everything with more detail, so go and find that there if you need more information. Let's start with the first section, which is your applications. Online pageants are a weird amount of work. For a normal pageant, you would prep at home, get everything ready, plan your routine, and then go to the event. Whereas doing it online, it's all on your own time with a due date. So it is a little bit like having homework. Do not apply for an online pinup pageant if you can't commit and produce something that you are happy with. You will need to probably film. You will probably need to take your own photos. You may not be allowed to have a professional film crew. If you can't film within the parameters of your own life, don't waste the organizer's time by applying. It is also worth noting the time zone of your pageant, especially when it comes to applications or sending in your final submission. If you are in a different time zone, which is kind of the beauty of online pageants, is you can be in a pageant anywhere in the world basically. Keep an eye on time zones so you don't accidentally submit things too late and miss out. The next thing we need to look at is following the requirements. All pageants send you a list of what is expected, be it live or online. But the information that you get for an online pageant is paramount because it should have a lot of your questions answered for you. Like with any pageant, find out how many rounds there are, how long is each round, and what the theme is for each round. Really read the information. Especially I have had a lot of mature age pinups get super confused by filming files, formatting their videos, and the amount of times I've been asked how to use Dropbox is adorable because I can't use Google Drive. So, you know, we all have our vices. Make sure you can at least get someone to help you if you struggle in these areas. If you are asked to submit photos or video, please find out whether you are allowed to get help and assistance or whether you're expected to do it on your own. Of course, on your own, most pageants will allow you to get somebody to take a photo so you're not sitting there with a self-timer and a tripod, like I am now. And that also goes for photos. Are you allowed to bring in a professional? Most of the time I've seen some online pageants which are photo-based that are really casual and people just clearly go into the backyard, take a couple of photos on their phone or on a camera, and that's it. I don't think a lot of pageants care about being overly edited or photoshopped, but we will talk about editing a little bit later. But know the parameters of what you are and aren't allowed. Let's look at filming setup. Of course, this is just for a video-based pageant, which seem to be the most common. Creating a filming space can feel really daunting. You might be a little bit embarrassed about filming in your home, and that is fine. I will give you options later, but let's talk about filming in your home in general. Lighting will be one of the most important factors when it comes to filming your performance. You do not want it to look like you filmed at night in a dark room in a cave on a potato. You do not want to stand in front of a window and film directly pointing in. You want to position the camera in front of a window and then you stand being well lit. Even in this scenario where I have no extra lighting, my window is here. So that's why I'm trying to face more this way, because the further I move, the more shadows I get. So I want to be as lit up as possible. If you have extra lighting, amazing, brilliant, use it. This might be the time to ask a favor of friends to see if they have any professional lighting, ask any photographer friends if you could just borrow their lighting for a while. There are ways of getting around it. Try to film in a brightly lit area, because there's nothing worse than trying to judge these pageants and you can't see anything. If you are filming in your home, please be thoughtful and mindful of what objects you have in your house. Especially if you are filming in intimate areas such as your bedroom or your boudoir. You do not want private objects or things that you do not want broadcast in the background. If you are struggling to find an area to film, maybe see if you can get a C-stand or even some really good duct tape or gaffer tape and put sheets up to create a backdrop. Don't worry too much, you will not be judged on what's in your house. I did this for one of my pageants. I had to film in an open area and the windows behind showed my absolutely awful garden, which was under renovations, which made me very self-conscious. So I put up bed sheets. Sure, not all of them were pristine white, pretty sure all of them might have had a tear in it, but it was enough to create a flat backdrop. It was good enough. You are not being judged on your house, so don't worry too much. There is a high chance you might need to move some furniture around, so I would definitely set up your area either in the morning if you're going to film in the afternoon or even the night before, so it's all ready. If you're going to have a friend film you, do a test run, even in just your pajamas, to see what it looks like and make sure you're happy with it. Or if you're going to be using a tripod and a camera, make sure that you know what the audience is going to see. Do a test run, trust me. If you absolutely cannot film in your house, there are always reasons that this happens. There are alternatives. Go to a park. Film in a quiet area of the park. If you can do it, brilliant. Be really mindful of what's in the background. Avoid backgrounds which have children or other people doing other park activities. The other option you have is see if you can hire out a dance studio or a hall or an open space. Sometimes schools will use their gymnasiums or the auditoriums for hire, and see if you can do that. The pinup community is closely linked to the burlesque community, so maybe if you have a burly friend who uses the dance studio, maybe you can just hire it out for an hour, or they might even just let you use it for free depending on your circumstances. It is worth noting that some pageants want you to use the same location in all your filming. Let's move on to the actual filming. So we've got the setup, you've got either sheets up, you're really well lit. How are you going to film it? Pageants that are online sometimes will give you outlines. I've had a pageant that's like you can only film on a mobile phone, as it makes it fair for people that don't have a really fancy camera, and that is fine. Stick to those rules. Whenever you record, the format and file information is already imprinted into the film's data. So I could submit this and some tech wizard could say, no, actually you film this on a DSLR, that's disqualified. So if you have to film it on your phone, film it on your phone. I would recommend filming in landscape, as a lot of these videos we put up on Facebook Live, and by filming in landscape, you get a wider breadth it looks more like a stage than a really close up like that. If you are filming on your phone, you need to play with the settings. Try to film in the highest possible definition. Make sure your phone has room to store it. You don't want to record and halfway through have it cut out because you don't have enough storage. One thing that I will say is I believe that online pageants, especially video submissions, should be one continuous video. This is not a TikTok where you can be posed here, and then posed here, and then posed here. It's just not gonna work. So, one continuous video. Treat your video submission as if you were on stage. Walk into your video. Do your poses, walk about the stage, move around, interact with the audience. But also on stage, it is one continuous performance. If something goes wrong, you just have to go with it. But the good thing about doing it online is you can take as many takes as you need to until you are happy with it, which is the biggest bonus of online pageants. You do not need to film all your videos in one day. You absolutely can film all your videos in one day. The beauty about online pageants is that you can work it to your schedule. One thing that I'll also recommend, even if it is just a filming pageant, take a couple of photos after you're done of your entire outfit, just in case you want to submit it or you can have something to share online on pageant day. Last thing about filming is if you are filming, you can absolutely film with music on. We will touch back on this in the editing. The last thing about the filming is if you have a photo submission, of course, follow the requirements. Don't deviate off a script that is super easy to follow. Do not make it harder for the organizers. If you got asked to send in only 3 photos, don't send in 10 and tell them to pick the best ones. That is not their job. Okay, let's look at editing. We all probably have a Talkie Tick and an Instagram. Great. They are not video editing software. They have video editing capabilities, but they compress your videos. So if these are going to be shared, you're going to look like a smudge and you'll end up looking like that Sasquatch photo. Yeah, you don't want to be a Sasquatch photo. This is where you need to get a little bit tech savvy. Most computers and laptops will have some kind of video editing software. Mac has iMovie, but I'm not 100% sure what a Windows has, but there are also free programs that you can do all this on. I would recommend trimming your video at the beginning and the end, because sometimes if you're just taking a deep breath but it's already filming, especially if you're filming on your own and you need to press record, run to position and then start, we don't need to see that. To get your video off your phone, use something like a Dropbox which doesn't compress, or a Google Drive file, which you can then open up on your computer or your laptop and then put it into video editing software. Do not add a filter. Do not add a filter. You are not being judged on whether you have a breakout. I currently have a massive pimple on my chin, but I don't care that it's there. It's there. I'm not being judged on it. Actually, no, this is YouTube. I probably will be judged on it. The judges will not judge you for blemishes. Don't feel the need to edit your body shape on some fancy editing software. Just be you. It goes without saying, do not smack on a black and white filter with those speckly crackle effects. You're not being judged on cinematography. Let's look at music. If I was filming an online routine here, I would absolutely edit a crisp soundtrack over my video, because you don't need to hear construction, which can be really distracting. Whatever editing software you use, you can always Google questions. Type in whether it be iMovie, how to add music if you are unsure or unfamiliar with these programs, and you should get answers. You can get video tutorials. There is always a way to do this. Ask someone to help you if you can. Put out a post on your local Pinup community page. Tell them you would like some help. Can anyone jump on a call with you or come over and help you, or you can bring your laptop to them. There are ways. We are a community. We're all supposed to be doing this together. I'm sure even the other contestants will help you. I'd really like to think they would help you. If you are doing a photo pageant and you took the photos yourself, don't over edit yourself. I normally just like to mildly brighten, and if I do have to Photoshop out maybe a mark on my arm, that's all you need. Do not sit there and adjust your face and over edit your photos. We want to see you. We don't want to see your Photoshop skills. If your photos are taken by a professional photographer, they technically own those photos unless they signed a release form over to you. You need to make sure that they are properly credited and they are in charge of editing. Okay, let's look at submissions. For video files, you should be told what format, whether it be a .mov or a .mp4 or 3, whichever one's a video one. Make sure when you save your file, it is in that format. While saving a file, title it clearly. Title it with your pinup name and then the round. For example, I would title mine Miss MonMon _ Daywear. Simple. You don't want the organizers to get file PB12345 and then not knowing what it is, having to waste their time clicking on it, try to guess, is that your day wear? Is that your evening wear? Is it a swimwear? Are you going to do, like, it's just too much work. They don't have time for it, especially when they're dealing with 10 other contestants doing the same thing. Make it easier for them. When submitting them, I would suggest submitting your photos or your videos as soon as you can, as the organizers can check. Sometimes computers don't like to talk to each other, especially if you're going from a Mac to a PC back to a Mac. Files can get a bit janky. Make sure you submit early, so if there is a problem, you can fix it on your end. Even if it's just saving your file again as a different format, keep it on your computer, keep it somewhere accessible and simple. When submitting it, you would probably submit it into a Dropbox folder. Create a folder, put everything in it, properly labeled, whether it be videos, photos, whatever, and then you can just copy that link and send it to them in an email. Hello, here is my submission. Link, any problems, let me know. Done. Sent. Easy. We've prepped, we've planned, we've filmed, we've submitted. Now it's pageant day. Depending on the pageant, if it's online, you can sit on your couch in your pajamas and watch it. Yes, I have done that. I've been sewing and watching myself in a pageant. It's a wild concept, guys. If your pageant has told you that they might want to do a video live with you, please be ready to go. This is a great time to share the photos that you took. If you are allowed, always wait for the pageant to be completely over before you share any announcements. And always, always thank the sponsors, thank the organizers, tag everybody, share the joy. Go for it. I think online pageants are great. They allow you to connect with different parts of the community in new and fun ways, and it's one of my favorite things to come out of lockdown. Have fun with it. Treat it like a real pageant. Don't think that just because you're filming it at home, you can't put on a petticoat and go that extra mile with that really beautiful pair of gloves. Don't hold back on your outfits. Just really embrace it. Try to treat it as you would on stage. That's the best thing. Thank you so much for being a part of another Pinup Pageant Guide episode. I can't believe we have 11 of these now. Thank you so much for spending some time with me and just hanging out and putting up with that because they're driving me nuts. I will be back next week with a brand new video, but until then, be kind, be true, be you. Please feel free to like, comment and subscribe to my channel, as well as find me on any of my social media. I will see you guys next week. Have a beautiful week until then. Bye.